Hello, I'm Mayor Rick Goldring, and welcome to Burlington Matters. Burlington Matters is a relatively new program here at Cogeco that was created in such a way that we can connect with the residents of Burlington and have topical discussion with great guests on some of the news and events and opportunities that are occurring in the city of Burlington. Today, our show is focused on health and active living, specifically the opportunities that are offered by the Parks and Recreation Department in the city of Burlington. My guests with me today are the Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Burlington, Chris Glenn. Welcome.
Thank you.
And beside Chris, we have Lisa Crapsi. Lisa is a Recreation Coordinator working with youth in the city. And we have Mandy Newnham. Mandy is the Supervisor of Recreation for Adults and Seniors, and thank you all for joining us here today. Chris, I'd like to start off by talking about the many parks and community centers we have in the city. We're very fortunate. We have a plethora of different facilities that we're all very proud of. Tell us about some of the most used parks and facilities that we have in the city.
Certainly. Perhaps if I could, Mr. Mayor, I'll give you a bit of a summary of the facilities we do have, and that'll really emphasize the opportunity that we have for our community. We have and I'll refer to my list here because I can't remember all the numbers, 117 parks, 119 sports fields, 109 playgrounds, 17 recreation centers, 6 pools, 10 gymnasiums, 11 ice pads, 9 splash pads, tennis courts, golf course, bocce ball, 30 community rooms, senior center, student theater, music center, 21 joint venture operations, and upwards of 213 kilometers of trails that we have. I've left out a lot in that summary, but there's a lot that our community can play with, certainly, over the course of the year. We're excited. I talked about the facilities, but what we're more excited about is the opportunity that people can have when they get out and use these venues. We really believe that when people participate in activities, whether it's more of the same or more variety, that they have a higher quality of life. With that, we have a video that we've put together that talks about live and play in our community that gives you a sense of some of the things people can do with individually and with their families. So with that, we'll go to the video.
What is play? Play starts when we are very young, and it never stops. Play is spontaneous, free-spirited, and relaxed. It's also structured and goal-oriented. Play is individual, a form of self-expression, a creative outlet. It's also a shared experience that brings people and communities together. Play is emotional, fun, and a great energy release. And it makes us happy. We learn how to play with others and by ourselves. We never forget how to play. It's like riding a bicycle. In fact, it is riding a bicycle. It's also running, walking, bird watching, skating, building sandcastles, dancing, soccer, skateboarding, and painting. Play is a lot of things, and you can do them all right here in Burlington. So play. Play on our fields and in our parks. Play on our swings, paths, or in our pools, or on the ice. Play an instrument, or whatever inspires you. Live and play every day.
So welcome back. That was a great video that gives people an idea of what's available in the city of Burlington with regard to recreational facilities. And you talked extensively about a long list of different numbers of different sports fields and gymnasiums and community centers and senior centers and so on and so forth.
Yes.
How busy are our facilities? And what do we hear from people about the programming that's offered?
Our facilities are generally very busy when we have our primetime operation on a regular basis. So use an example, our arenas at this time of year are certainly very busy with after-school programming. right into the late evening with adult groups coming in, and certainly we may all remember the early morning skates and practices that we took our kids to. Same things with the pools, gymnasiums and whatnot. Usually after school on and on weekends, our facilities are all very busy. This time of year as well, with the weather the way it is too, our parks and trails are still very busy for people to participate in. And if I was to go out to something during the day, Monday to Friday, to look for activity, I'd go to the senior center. That place is bustling. We're almost up to 3,500 members. Programs are ongoing. We're even expanding out of that building. And I know that you're a member of that location, so
yeah, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, I thought I'd just a little reminder that your participation is appreciated there as well.
I'm a member. I don't have time to participate much, but I am a member there at the Senior Center. Thank you very much, Chris, for mentioning that. In any event, we have a live and play guide that comes out 3 times a year.
Yes.
It's got a wide variety of different programming. Give us an idea of what's in here.
Absolutely. We have, there are about 700 programs in that guide that you just referenced there that we operate, plus there's other organizations that offer programs in our facilities as well. So we have almost 42,000 registrations that go into city direct delivered programs. So you have things from sport, recreation, and culture in here, from introductory level to more advanced or competitive. We have programs that would be drop-in, example, drop-in skate, drop-in swim as an example. You could go anywhere from a learn to participate in a particular sport activity all the way to a cultural activity such as crafts or arts, etc. I looked in here earlier today and I saw a seniors boot camp. I'm a little concerned about whether or not I could keep up with that particular one if I participated in that. And we also have programs for folks that maybe need a little more attention or a little bit more disadvantaged, and those would be things such as our sledge hockey programs and our Camp Can Do, etc. So lots of things for family to participate in as well. Long list in here. You really need to look inside. I think you'll find something for everyone in there.
So Lisa, there's one program out of the 700 that are in here that's very unique that you're very attached to. No Socks for Ivan.
No Socks for Ivan.
It's been around for a year?
Yep.
Tell us about it.
So it's the city's youth initiative program. So essentially we started off, we went into the high schools and we surveyed and interviewed and talked to about 700 youth to figure out what they wanted from us as the city. And the feedback we got was tremendous. They wanted safe places to go, to engage, people to talk to, and just really to hang out and just enjoy. So basically we started with Mountainside Recreation Center. Once a week we opened a free drop-in program and we engaged with the youth with focus groups to figure out what they wanted the space to look like. So they picked everything from the colors, the furniture, to the name, among some other really creative names. No Socks for Ivan won. And that program was very well received that it grew. So now we're in 3 different other facilities. We grew to after-school programs, to pop-up Ivan events, which are one-off events that the youth work with our youth outreach staff to run. And it gives them that leadership opportunity. And then we decided to capitalize on such high numbers of youth. So we were seeing anywhere between 200 to 300 youth every Friday night at Mountainside. And we thought, how do we capitalize on all the youth in the city? And so we were able to bring community groups into the facility, really connect them with job opportunities, volunteer opportunities. We're often doing surveys and just trying to figure out what else they want from us and what more we can do and help connect.
So what does a pop-up No Socks for Ivan look like?
What does it look like? Well, our youth outreach staff work with youth, and ultimately they decide what kind of activity they want to run. So it's a one-off activity. So for an example, we did one this past summer, which was a doggy wash. The youth decided that they wanted to wash dogs in the neighborhood and fundraise and then donate the money. And so they worked with our staff. We booked the space for them, helped promote it with them, and then a group of volunteers came out and they washed a bunch of neighborhood dogs. And yeah, it was a really fun experience. And
where are the other locations of No Socks for Ivan? We're at Mountainside, but where else are we?
So we started at Mountainside and we were seeing such high numbers there that some of the feedback we got from other youth was that they wanted Aldershot. So now we're in Aldershot Arena. And both programs are able to offer free skating to the youth, which is a very exciting opportunity for them. And we've also stretched to Haber Recreation Center as well. And then the pop-up for Ivans happen just throughout the city, wherever the youth identify as an area.
So we've been talking about youth. Now let's talk about adults and seniors, and that's, Mandy, your area. We're an aging city, as the whole country is aging, the whole province is aging, but certainly Burlington has a higher percentage of seniors than most communities. Tell us how we've responded to that and the opportunities that are available for adults and seniors like me.
Great. Well, Chris spoke about the Burlington Senior Center, so maybe I'll start there, as that's kind of the hubbub of activity for older adults in our community right now. And we are bustling between Monday and Friday, 9 to 5, 8 to 5, with activities. This winter coming up, we have 157 different programs that people can participate in, and they range the full gamut of interests. So we've kind of got 5 different areas that we're looking at providing programming in, and that includes fitness and dance programs, arts and crafts programs, and every kind of those activities that you can think of. Continual learning, which includes languages and discussion groups and so on, and also cards and game programs as well. We have 3,500 members that participate in programs both at the Senior Center and throughout the city, so it is alive and well and growing.
So a senior today is different than a senior was 50 years ago. I mean, life expectancy has increased dramatically in the last 50 years, probably about 12 years. What are the trends with regard to programming, with regard to seniors and older adults?
Right, so now we're talking about older adults being 55 plus, and so that in and of itself is a change.
It's a very broad
It's a
range.
very broad spectrum, and it includes a lot of different interests because of that. But some of the trends that we're seeing right now are a great interest in fitness programs, and those kinds of fitness programs that are very adaptive and enable people to participate despite their fitness level or their physical ability. So things like chair yoga is very exciting, and people chair yoga and chair Pilates. So you get the same great workout as you would without a chair. You can make it as gentle as you'd like or as intense as you like, but you've got the added benefit of a chair there for stability. So it's very popular right now. We're also seeing a lot of growth in men's fitness programs, and so we have a lot of just, guys like to hang out with guys, and they do fitness classes together and seem to be enjoying it that way also.
I know there's a casual group of people that get together at Brant Hills to play table tennis first thing in the morning, have a coffee and play table tennis.
Yeah, so I was just there this morning actually, and there was the ping pong was going crazy, 8 o'clock in the morning. So certainly. We're also seeing a growth in IT programs, so anything that helps people better understand how to maximize the use of their smartphones and their tablets, their laptops, anything like that certainly is big. Jam sessions are our new big one coming up. So music programs have always been well participated in, but we're also now, we have great music directors that are pulling together people with whatever kind of instrument they're interested in. They get together for an hour a week and they jam and they rock. So there's lots going on.
So on Burlington Matters today, we're talking with Chris Glenn, Lisa Crapsi, and Mandy Newnham about all the opportunities there are for people to play in the City of Burlington. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back on Burlington Matters. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Burlington Matters, and I'm Mayor Rick Goldring. We're discussing recreational opportunities in the City of Burlington with Chris Glenn, the Director of Parks and Recreation, Lisa Crapsi, who's with the Parks and Rec Department in the area of youth, and Mandy Newnham, who focuses on adult and seniors programming in the city. I guess it was about a year ago, a year ago, December 2014, where the Parks and Recreation Department brought in a speaker from Seattle, Washington, by the name of Jim Dyers, and about community building.
Yes.
And you invited me out to hear him with staff, and I must say, I was inspired. Can you talk about the impact, what Jim's message is all about, and the impact he's had on the Parks and Recreation Department in the city?
Certainly. Jim's book is titled Neighborhood Empowerment, and he was in the city of Seattle at one point in time the Director of Neighborhood Development. And what he brings was a very inspirational presentation on what the community can do to support itself in developing its own interest, its own opportunities within the community, engaging itself and the community doing for the community. In essence, community empowerment going forward. We were inspired by that because we were quite honestly trying to figure how do we work with the local neighborhood on a more meaningful way going forward. Some of the programs that came out of that were quite inspirational for us. One of them being Love My Hood was a good example of a program, and part of what Jim would tell us is don't start with a meeting to try to get community together. Start with a party and have them come together so that you can get to know your neighbors and get to understand what's going on in your neighborhood around you. Start that connections going forward, and then that can support you into the future. Little play groups that may go to the park together. You may need to go to the neighbor next door if they need help with getting snow shoveled for the winter months, etc. So we put that program in place, Love My Hood, and I think we had like about 12 of those that happened over the course of the summer. So in essence, a small street party. The benefit of that was people started to know each other. They were able to go out and start that community connection. They even got websites set up and social media going forward. We had carried that as well into another program. We were looking to do something in the neighborhoods with rinks. We wanted to get people more active on an ongoing basis in the winter if we could. There were a couple that were running in the community. We took the notion and expanded because our rinks were full in terms of sport activity, but we were trying to enhance the drop-in. And now we have a neighborhood rink program that's more actively promoted. So we went from maybe 3 in the community to this year we're going to see 16 different parks have an opportunity for an outdoor rink where the city will come in and set up boards. Half of them were able to provide the water source, and the other half, the neighbors are providing the water source. Group of 6 or more are going to be coming together to build those rinks and allow for the community, local community, to have an opportunity to play. So those are 2 examples of what we're seeing in terms of the impact of Jim and trying to get out and connect that community more so at the more local level.
So Lisa, you were part of the discussion with Jim Dyers. What did you take out of it? What was the takeaway for you?
I think Jim really inspired everyone to start saying yes and to start figuring out ways to make change happen. And
didn't he refer to the Department of No? Was it his?
Yeah.
He said that?
Yeah,
Get away from being the Department of No.
Yeah, you want to be the Yes Committee. And so with regards to No Socks for Ivan, we really tried to take that to say, you know, some of these youth and their ideas, there's no reason that we can't do this, right? So when they say, you know, we want to have a doggy wash, why can't we have a doggy wash? What are these barriers and how can we break them down so we can really do this? And he really did inspire us to really work collectively and to really listen to the people, and that's what No Socks for Ivan really tries to do, is give the youth a voice to tell us what you want from your city, and I think Jim really inspired us to take that perspective.
So speaking with regard to the youth, and recognizing that the digital age has had significant impact on how youth interact. I mean, you know, when I was 10 years of age, I really sound old, so I'm not going to do it much. But things have changed very much. I remember we went through a period of time we didn't even have a TV, so my parents couldn't bother getting another one for 6 months. I mean, you wouldn't think of that today without having a computer or so on and so forth. So what are you hearing from youth today with regard to how they connect, and how has the digital age and this community building that Jim Dyers talked about, how does that morph into your learnings and with youth in our community?
Right. Well, with Jim, it was really about encouraging us to connect with our community. And when you're working with youth, you really do need to connect with them on their preferred platform. So when we surveyed, one of the questions was, how do you want us to approach you, right? How do you want to engage with us? And social media was the #1 factor, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. But that's not to say that they don't still appreciate the face-to-face conversations, but we've actually taken that, we've increased our Twitter following, we've increased our Facebook following, we were able to actually get Instagram, which is really exciting, and a lot of the youth really engage that way. We use that as promotion, we post, this is what we're doing this week, or if you have any feedback, DM us, direct message us, tell us what you're thinking, and they know who is on the other side of the Instagram, and parents will even reach out on Instagram to say, just want to connect, my son's coming to program tonight, is there anything he needs to know, or anything like that. So it's been a very interesting way of connecting, but that's just sort of the way that the world's going.
I guess what I'm impressed about is particularly the No Socks for Ivan campaign. I've seen programs in the past start with a big excitement and then they fade. and I look at No Socks for Ivan, and it's been around for a year. Now it's expanded, and the numbers at the original site of Mountainside are still extremely strong.
Yeah, our highest number was 358 youth one night, one facility. We thought, oh gosh, you know what, this must be super trendy. It's gonna, it's gonna sort of platform out. And last week we had 260. So it's still growing, which is really exciting. It obviously speaks to a need.
Mandy, the face of the City of Burlington is changing. I mean, this is one of the desirable communities for people to move to. The Greater Toronto Area attracts 2/3 of the immigrants that come to Canada each and every year, and Burlington's a very desirable community. How do we adapt to the changing ethnic makeup of our city as diversity increases?
Well, I think one of the things that we're doing that also includes the diversity of ethnic groups as we look a little different in our community is the age-friendly plan that we're looking at. And that's coming at the changes that are heading our way from a different perspective. It's actually saying that let's look at our community and make sure that everything we do is appropriate for all ages. But it forces us to look at a lot of different ways, such as how we communicate with people and making sure that information is accessible and easily communicated, whether you've got a difficulty with hearing or whether it's a different language that you speak from the dominant culture in our community. So the age-friendly plan that's we're just undertaking right now is going to be looking at 3 different phases, and one of them is looking at our demographics, where we currently are, and what we anticipate as the changes. So who's going to be coming into our communities and how our communities are going to grow and where they're going to grow. We're going to be experiencing, from my perspective, working with older adults, a change from about a 1 in 6 ratio of older adults to the rest of the community. That's going to be growing to about 1 in 4. So we know we need to respond to that also. The second phase is going to include a really engaging dialogue with community, and we're going to be creating focus groups and surveys so that people can tell us what they think we're doing well, what we need to do better, and what they'd like to see in their future as our community changes and grows also. And then the third phase is going to be taking all that information that we've collected and creating a plan for the next 10 years so that we can respond and be ready for even more change as it starts to occur.
From what you see so far from the analysis that's been done, what is something that we need to do more of, or something we need to do that we're not doing now?
Right. So what we do really well is create affordable programs that are very diverse. One of the areas that I think we need a little bit more work, excuse me, a little more work with is transportation, probably. So we need to find ways to get folks, whether they're able-bodied or not, or whether they live in a little bit further away from some of these places where we're providing opportunities for recreation, for example, to those areas. And so we do hear that quite commonly, that this is something that we need to enhance. So we're hoping that we'll hear more with this age-friendly approach, and that we are able to plan for that and create some change.
And certainly that influences our transportation master plan, which our transportation department is.
Exactly. It's all working together. Yeah.
Going back to youth, going back to the Healthy Kids Community Challenge. Burlington was one of 44, 45 communities or cities that was selected for this program. Tell us about the program.
Sponsored by the provincial government, a 3-year opportunity for us, and what they're looking to do is really have an influence on our children. The obesity rate is really a primary driver. So each year over the next 3 years, there's going to be a theme by which we're able to put time and effort on. And the first one is physical activity, and the second one is healthy eating. So what we're doing as kind of the lead on this is working with a number of different partners to come up with strategies to work closer into the community to try to have impact on our youth. And first phase will be on the healthy activities. So we've done an assessment, youth assessment, with the support of Community Development Halton, and we're now in the process of creating those partnerships in the community that will look at having small to medium impacts. We look at things could a local family spearhead potential of being, we're going to be the walking school bus to school? Are you prepared to do that? That would be great. That's one initiative. Or we might look at perhaps after-school programming in a more established operation going forward. So we're really excited about this one. We're going to have a 3-year window with which to participate. You are the champion. Thank you for that. And you launched it with us, I guess, in October with the chocolate campaign. That was a lot of fun. I think we had 2,500 children out there chalking the fronts of various buildings, schools and libraries and rec centers that talked about how they might want to be active going forward. So you look forward to seeing more about that starting up in probably January, February.
Yeah, here we go again talking about when I was a kid, but we didn't have the iPhones or the computers or we had TV, but there weren't the number of channels that there are today. You were outside.
You're out at the parks.
You were outside or on the streets or doing whatever or visiting friends. You were doing all sorts of different things, but it's different today. And as a result, childhood obesity rates have increased.
They have.
Thus, more activity and better eating habits. They can be established at younger ages. Typically, you keep those habits with you into your older years. How can people learn more about the different programs that we offer here at the City of Burlington?
There's certainly the Live and Play guide that you showed earlier is certainly the document that people can go to.
And this is distributed to every household, I believe, in the city, or most households in the city?
We are reducing the number of print copies because we're looking to take people more to the website. So go online with us.
More environmentally friendly if we do that.
And it's easier for people. Now, if we go back to when we were younger, we'd have to get the guide and fill out the form on the back and take it to the City Hall or wherever. Now it's all online, so people can shop, go to burlington.ca/Parks and Rec/play, and you can go on and you can see all the opportunities. This is right up there online, so you can see everything that's there, and you can register right online for programs directly and know right away that you've got it. You can also follow us. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. We have those types of opportunities for people to connect with us as well.
But really the website is the ideal place to get all the information. So it's burlington.ca/Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec.
Parks, Rec. P-A-R-K-S, Rec.
Okay, so Parks Rec. Great. In any event, this has been a great discussion. I want to thank all of you for joining me today. I think we're all proud of the work that's being done in the City of Burlington, all the different programs and activities there are for people of all ages. So my guests today have been Chris Glenn, our Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Burlington, Lisa Crapsi, Recreation Coordinator in the youth area, and Mandy Newnham, who is a Supervisor of Adult and Senior Programming for the City of Burlington. Thank you all very much for tuning in to Burlington Matters. We'll see you next time. We'll look forward to more programs. And if you have an idea for a show, please email us at mayor@burlington.ca or phone us at 905-335-7607. Until next time, I'm Mayor Rick Goldring. Take care.